Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir. Yes.
Yes. Good. We will wait 2-3 minutes while others are joining. We have around 28 members so far, so we will wait around 2-3 minutes. Right, while others are joining to the class, I would like to remind you that you want to submit your group formation sheet. So get ready to prepare it within today signature. Uh, Today we are providing online, so at least the signature can be given later. Today, provide me the soft copy with your members' names and registration numbers. So we can handle the organizing part then, and we can assign the case studies for you according to this one. And as well as we can assign duties for your strategic forum based on this. If you have already completed it, please send me via email or through the chat box here. So I can collect them and name your groups. You do not want to fill the group number. I will fill the group number and assign you a particular number. Based on the number, you will be allocated cases. So get ready for that particular task. Today you want to submit it. Have you already submitted it? I'm not sure whether Kalhari is there. Did you get any Kalhari?
No, sir, still not.
Still not. So please submit it today. Otherwise, we will not be able to plan our activities in a timely manner. So your submission is needed. It is a must. Otherwise, the task will be delayed. So everyone keep in mind that you should be in a group. We are not forming group. So you should be in a group. Later you don't come with I'm not there. So kindly insert my name. Likewise, those kind of requested cannot be accommodated. So everyone is responsible for being lively participate in the activities. If you miss the name, that means you are not, your members are not even responsible for keeping attention on what they have to do. So it is your responsibility. That is also a measurement about responsibility and the commitment, continuation of your work. So every things that you do, it is a matter. I expect by the end of the today class, I will get all the group formation sheets. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So form your groups and let me know the name of the students and the numbers as well as the leader. I want to know the leader. So better put the leader's name first and ask the other people to insert their names accordingly if you are forming a group as a representative. Today is the class representative. I heard that it is Ruini. Are you there today?
Yes. Yes, I am here, sir. I'm Ruin.
Ruini.
Good morning, sir.
That's good. Good morning. Yes, Ruin, I told you your members last week, it is a huge responsibility that we are going to organize a strategic forum. So we did it previous years in a grand scale and all appreciated about the hard work done by the students under the guidance of this particular subject. So this time also we expect to do such a great job. I have already shared with you the action plan prepared by 2020 group. Actually, they conducted this forum online. So I gave just to identify what are the activities you need to complete within this particular term. Now we are in the 5th class. So 13th class will be the strategic forum. So we have around few more weeks in order to get ready. It's about 2 months. So getting ready is your responsibility. The last 2020 batch, they completed this task by identifying these activities. The eighth activity, it was about assembling the resources needed for online forum. For this particular time, this time we don't need to think about the online forum, but still we can think about live broadcasting and other things. So the way that you are doing your work in grand scale and the quality way will be highly, evaluated. The marks will be given accordingly. So each and every member in this particular large class, the previously we worked with actually small classes. Now this is a kind of quite large class. So every member's contribution will be ensured by the leader of the group. Otherwise, we don't want to give marks for pre-riders. Then based on our discussion last week, we also listed down what are the activities we need to complete within this strategic forum to complete the strategic forum. So overall coordination, I prefer Ruin should take the responsibility of giving the leadership for the overall coordination. You can think about who are the other members for your group. So overall coordination should be done by the class representative and the leading team of the class. The all other activities can be divided among the members of the teams that you are forming today through the group formation sheet. So you can prepare these teams can work on the activities that they are responsible.
Sure, sir. And we have formed the group, and I have put a link to this chat.
Okay.
And we are waiting for. There are two members who don't have a groups. Give me a until this lecture today lecture.
Only 4 members are missing the groups.
Yes, only 2 members. They are looking for groups. We will finalize a group when lecture is
session. You should work on it and complete the task. I will download the sheets so far. Then at least I can think about assigning numbers for the group because leaders are already confirmed. So you have named them as ABC. Yeah, that's fine. We can follow the same order. ABC, DE. So that's good. Thank you very much for your initiative to take this one. Then we want to assign the duties for particular task. But this list of tasks should be finalized in a form like that. Then you can have a kind of Gantt chart in order to work accordingly. This is last time, so you want to rethink about your activities, responsibility, and the time frame you want to design starting from today. This is not this year. So this year you starting from the 18th of October, you want to plan for next 8 weeks in order to work done in maximum way. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you,
I
sir.
have already shared this Excel sheet even.
Okay, sir.
Even multiple Excel sheets can be prepared in order to see the progress of the small groups.
Okay.
You can plan it according to your convenient way, but I want to guide you that time plan is needed, activity responsibility is needed, overall coordination is needed in order to make sure that all activities are done on time and in quality way.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so that's the application of the strategy part. So everyone here are being, you are learning for being strategic managers. So your responsibility, your time allocation, resource allocation, everything is included in this one. Strategic planning, strategic controlling, and everything is included here. So this activity helps you to learn the subject in practical way. You do it in some other context, but in this context, then you will get ready, or you will adapt to this context and will do it. Okay, fine. Then we will move to the class if there are no other matters to be discussed. If you have, you can raise question. I don't usually like to have kind of, silent class. It is very boring then, even online. I told my preference is doing physical classes. Anyway, because of the your coordination and your management, course management. We got to know that today is online class. When there was no option, right? So I would like to hear if you have any kind of clarification problems, even technical issues related to the class, you want to let me know. I'm connecting with my mobile also. If there is anything, I can see in other device also. Right. So last week we started discussion of strategic analysis. I told you that after you understanding what is strategy and what is strategic management, then you move to the discussion on strategic thinking, which is most important part for the modern day uh, organizational strategic approach. Then we discuss the elements of our strategic plan or corporate planning. In government sector, we use the corporate planning term, while the private sector mostly it is called as strategic planning. Then after discussing these three sessions in the beginning with Professor Pushpakumari, we moved to the last week to discuss about strategic analysis. Brief in the what we have done, I told you that strategic analysis is important because we want to know that where we are. The organization should understand internal environment and external environment very simply to set up strategies. We should know exactly who we are and we should know about where we are. So in terms of analyzing internal and external analysis, doing internal and external analysis, we understand ourselves as well as our surroundings. So that part is covered by the strategic analysis. It is rooted in design school. I shared the book called Strategic Safari, edited by Mintzberg and other authors, to read about what is this particular approach. I told that there are 10 approaches. I think as self-study, you have started doing so. So it is your responsibility for accessing or reading additional material, because we are talking about masters it is not the kind of, learning in the classroom, but the master, you are reading for masters. So it is your responsibility for reading. I have already shared this book as well as some articles. Then design school is explaining about external appraisal and internal appraisal. Through the external appraisal, we will understand opportunities and threats. And throughout going through the opportunities and threats in the external environment, you identify the critical success factors for organization staying in the market. Internal appraisal in the other side, you can see it is talking about strengths and weaknesses of the organization. And then accordingly, we identify distinctive competencies. Therefore, last week class, we focused on internal analysis. And I told that how distinctive competencies or the strategic capabilities can be developed. Then we are moving to the social responsibility and other matters in order to create the strategy. Finally, we will select the strategies according to the analysis. So in the design school, mainly the strategy is more focused on the analysis part. Design school, the designing part is more important. There are some people are talking about this particular approach it is criticized because of designing school is more on designing rather than implementation. Implementation is there, but more weight is given for the design stage. In one sense, it is correct, because if you do not design proper thing, you can't implement. Or the implementation, wrong design implementation, there is nothing that you can obtain. Like if your house is designed in wrong manner, after completion, there will not be, satisfaction and the functionality that you expect. Likewise. Then we move to last week, we moved to the other discussion called how the environmental parts can be handled easily. We discussed about earlier environment was quite stable. In this scenario, it is talking about stable environment. This side. Today we are facing the environment called dynamic. It is fastly changing. But earlier, the environment was static, not changing. Accordingly, the other matter, it is about number of factors involved in the environment. At the beginning, it was simple. Organization did not too much worry about many matters like sustainability, competitiveness. Those factors were not kind of big issues at that time. But later today, it has become very complex with multiple factors that you want to consider about setting organizational strategies. Therefore, the beginning, 1960s, 1950s, and 60s, we had a kind of stable environment. I told you the policies were more important at that time. Then it was becoming more chaotic and changing. In one side, it was changing. The other side, it was becoming complex. So actually today environment where we are today is here. We want to deal with the complexity as well as diversity. So while doing here, the problem is how we can handle both together. So that part is more challenging. That's why organizational learning, innovation, creativity, such things have become more important. So today, mostly almost all organizations are working on this particular context. Right, then I discuss about the approaches I told you here. Today, our task is experiencing and learning rather the other things. Here we are. Our problem is there is no clear idea about what is future. There is no clear idea about what should be done. So most of organizations, therefore, they do the trial and errors and creative matters to survive in the present market. Then I told you about it is our responsibility of understanding internal environment. So we have done it mostly. I'm just revising it today. Then we want to think about competitors and markets as well as industry. We do this together because it is very difficult to differentiate industry and the competitors or markets. So we will combine the both parts together. Then next week, we will focus on the macro environment. After analyzing these three layers, we will move to strategic options. That is the way that we are going forward. So that is presented here with, today we are focusing about competitors, markets, and industry. So I told you about before you are playing what kind of game, you should know who you are. Your chessman is important. So if you do not know the capability of each chessman, you can't play chess. In some games like Dam, I told you that it is almost same kind of properties are there with the actors or the men. But here it is different. So in organization also, we have different capabilities, different talents, different skills, different ways of doing things. Then we want to clearly analyze it and understand what is our capability and strengths or weaknesses. I told you about this. The winning is depending on understanding your capability. If you have distinctive capabilities like Sanath Kalvitarna played well in 1996 to win the World Cup, if you have distinctive capabilities, your winning is mostly ensured. If you do not have such distinctive capabilities or unique capabilities, you are same as your competitors. Then the winning is not ensured. If you are below the capabilities of our competitors, definitely losing will be the result. You have watched several games like football, cricket, netball, volleyball, everything. It depends on mostly about the internal capability and as well as internal capability. If it is more than the external competitors' capability, you will ensure the winning. Right, then we discuss about the reading again, another text also shared with you in order to understand this analysis. Finally, what we simply do after the analysis of the internal and external, we will prepare kind of sort matrix to understand strategies, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to develop our strategy. So I recommend you to read this chapter in order to understand internal capability. I told you we followed the approach called resource-based review, RBV. It is mainly talking about the resources available for organization. You know, resources are multiple, and as well as the way that you handle the resources, like say, for example, your way of marketing. Although you have resources, sometimes your way of marketing is weak. The way of marketing is called as competence. The resources available for marketing is usually social media, the media unit, likewise media people, content creators are kind of resources. But combination of all these things will help you to identify your own or unique way of doing marketing. Sometimes though you have the content, sometimes your marketing is not the content created by you, but the content created by your users. Nowadays, it is mostly happening. Most of organizations, they use the user-created contents in order to do marketing. Right. So that particular approach is talking about two things I told you. It is about your resources and competencies. Resources are different. The way of using resources are also different. The same particular organizations are not using the same resources in same way. So uniqueness to be created. Then I explained this model, simplified model to understand resource-based view. In one side, you have resources like human resources, financial resources, physical resources, machinery, equipment, material, etc. Then you have kind of intellectual resources like patent, new methods, new ideas, kind of things are called as intellectual resources or intangible resources. Yes, do you have any clarification? I heard someone is trying to speak. Oh. Is there anything to be clarified? Okay, if not, we will continue. I'm just reminding you what we have done last week. So it is speedy because it is just spending time to remind. Then competencies, we talk about competencies are the ways of handling your resources. Although the buzzers are there for CTV and private sector both, the way of using buzzers in the private sector is different from the way that it is used in CTV. So that's why the two different approaches are there. It's okay because the objective of the CTV is not the profit maximization, but private sector definitely it is profit maximization. Then they define their own competencies based on that. A combination is highlighted. I told you that it is strategic capability. Strategic capability is a combination of unique resources as well as core competencies of the organization. So if you are having good resources and if you are using it well, definitely you have the competitive edge. You have competitive advantages. Right? We did a kind of example in the classroom in order to letting you to get understand, get a meaning of all these and give an example. So the people who did not attend last time class, they want to do this exercise by themselves to understand threshold resources, threshold competences, or kind of common. Threshold means common. Everyone should have. Unique means something different from others, not available to others. Core competencies are what are the best compared with others. Your best functions, processes, the styles that is giving more advantages than other competitors. Then finally, I combine these two together called strategic capability. So that is your responsibility. Fill in this table. I give the task last week in the classroom. Internal factors, there are multiple. Some organizations, they pay the attention on identifying factors and identifying the processes in order to identify organizational capability or the strengths, weaknesses. That is also called as strategic audit. So that is another option. Instead, following the particular model called resource-based view, you can do strategic audit. Strategic audit is also quite close to the resource-based view, but it focuses on the internal factors of the organization listed here, and we do the kind of examination to understand whether the leadership is good or bad, likewise. Then again, another approach is identifying the processes of the organization or functions here of the organization. I told you about marketing. It is very difficult to say that whether it is the correct method of doing marketing or the resources, marketing resources. Then everything can be taken together. As I mentioned you earlier, it is combination of all the things to the marketing, and we analyze, we audit whether the marketing is doing well or whether marketing is poor. So you can create kind of indexes for organization and understand strengths and weaknesses. I found one particular evaluation done by the NSTEC, National Science and Technology Commission, in order to audit the internal capabilities of the science and technology institutions in Sri Lanka. So they created evaluating criteria across the functions of the organization, factors of the organization, and the evaluations are done by judges. The judges are giving kind of assessments for each and every function of the organization. Accordingly, we can do the same things. Again, similar to the strategic audit. Then I told you earlier, another approach is also there called value chain analysis. I think you have heard it about it. I told you that it was also developed by whom? Value chain analysis. Anyone in the class? Last week I told it. Who developed the value chain analysis? Value chain analysis, it is kind of, model presented in this kind of figure. It has kind of, direct functions and indirect functions in order to gain the competitive advantages of profit margin. Who developed this one? It was also developed by
Michael Porter.
Yes, Michael Porter. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Shimali. He is Michael Porter. So he is talking about the basic key functions or the direct functions like, supply, logistic, then processing, then outbound logistic and delivery after sales. All these are direct, from identifying the product to delivering to the customer, product or service to the customer is direct. In addition to that, we have HRM, administration, accounting and finance, IT, all these are called as supportive functions. I think you have idea about it. So that value chain analysis is also important to or used to do the internal analysis. So through the value chain analysis, we did not discuss this model. The people try to mesh it with competencies. If it is matched with competencies, you can identify whether we want to focus on cost efficiency. The Michael Porter's another, the idea it is about you can be a cost lead. So if your value chain activities are well designed, you can reduce the cost and you can become a cost leader. The second thing Michael Porter is saying that if you do the value chain, if you are not good enough to reduce the cost, you can think about value addition. It is called as differentiation. Then through the value chain analysis, you can do market linkages. You can create kind of linkages, not only market, supply chain management, market linkages, the cross linkages about the related, we do diversification. Some diversification strategies are related. So we can combine value chain activities accordingly. Say, for example, banking and real estate. We had some kind of examples in Sri Lanka. The finance was connected with banking sector. So they have a kind of connection at that time. it was failed, but I told you about connections. So some banks may be connected with some kind of real estate industry. Supermarkets, I told you, they can connect with some other lending processes in the future. At the moment, it is not happening in Sri Lanka, but it can be. Then it is talking about if you do the value chain analysis properly, you can be a robust. Robust means maintaining the consistency, robustness. So those are strategies that the kind of Michael Porter's ideas connecting from one side value chain analysis, the other side it is about competency. So you will be able to identify what kind of competencies there. Cost related competencies, quality related competencies, linkage related competencies, consistency related competencies. Competencies say it is again you want to move from one side to another time to time, but robustness is needed. If you select one, you want to concentrate on it. Cost efficiency can be obtained in different ways. I think you have heard about this one, economies of scale. I'm not going to explain it. Simply, it is about mass scale production. The most of the small, medium scale organization, they cannot reduce the cost. It is because of low economies of scale or less economies of scale. Supermarkets can give the products to the customer more cheaper than some of the retailers. It is because of economies of scale. Then experience like Unilever, I told you last week, they are not easily letting other people to come to the laundry soap industry because they are the experience and they entertain the economies of scale being a large manufacturer. So if newcomer is coming, it's very hard to compete with Unilever. I told about Sunlight. So such a kind of product cannot be easily defeated. It doesn't say that there is a chance, but the rare chances are there to defeat it. Supply cost will definitely help you. Supermarkets, how they reduce the product cost price, it is mainly because of their supply cost. Product or process design. So that is also a way of reducing cost. We will discuss them later under the Michael Porter's strategy, business strategies. This is the value chain activities I told you earlier. So I think you have now some idea about what it is. So competitive advantages are addressed by increasing your profit margin. Profit margin can be increased by reducing cost as well as setting higher price because of your quality. So this is understood, I think. Are there any questions so far? Any clarifications? If not, we will finish our session soon because we want to discuss the next part also today. Then manage linkages, I told you earlier. Manage linkages also help in the organization to reduce cost or increase the level of the quality. Your supply, high supply quality will ensure the quality of the product. Low price of the supplies will ensure the low cost of the product. Industry networks, almost all these are important. Customer linkages, industry networks mainly reduce the over competition. Telecommunication industry, it is over competed, then definitely some organizations should close down. Even in the banking sector, some kind of coalition are there, industry networks are there. Customer linkages, yes, very important today. Most of organizations are linked with the customer. They are considered as lifelong partners. Collaborative research and development activities together with other organizations, suppliers, even some universities, government organizations. If you do collaborative research and development, you can gain advantages. Ownership sharing, especially foreign investors. If you can bring foreign investors for your organization, it is ownership sharing, then you can access to the foreign market. You can access to the foreign technologies. I'm just telling example, believing that you have idea about all these things. Networking with other institutions. We cannot forget, it is considered nowadays the most important capital for the organization is network. Even you do not want to pay money for developing network. So especially social media, through social media and other connections today, you can connect to the globe. So managing linkages is a prime duty today to become successful strategic managers. The other one, we talk about the capabilities development for sustainable competitive advantages. Strategic capability, we discuss why it is important. If it is rare, definitely strategic capabilities are long term. If it is rare, so maintaining rareness or the uniqueness or limiting the uniqueness for your organization is very important. If the other people can easily copy your strategic capability, then the rareness will be reduced. The advantage is short. So rather letting the other people easily copy you, you want to maintain the rare character or rarity. So to maintain the rarity, it says that you want to maintain your robustness. You want to concentrate on particular competency, capability. It says that you can improve your advantage if your new thing or your competency capability is complex. If it is complex, what is the result? In your question paper, if you find a complex problem, what is the result? You can't easily capture it. You can't easily understand it. The similarly, complexity of the strategy or the capability will create competitors difficult to copy it. So that's the most important part. If your competitor cannot understand what is the cause, what is the effect, what is the combination, composition of your strategic capability, then others cannot copy it easily. The excellence of some of the companies like Apple, it has been copied up to some extent, but everything cannot be copied. Therefore, complexity will create competitive advantages through sustainable sustainable capabilities, strategic capabilities. Then the culture and history. Culture and history, it is very difficult to copy. Particular organization, the way of working particular organization cannot be easily copied. So the culture and history, creating strong and conducive culture for organization, developing the history over time. That's why most of organizations, when they are thinking about starting the business today, they want to know that history is beginning now. Future, it will be more important. Although some organizations in the world, they are performing well today, some people knows about their history. They question about their history. Sometimes their history is a kind of unfavorable thing for moving forward. So rather having such a history, organizations want to create a kind of good history for organization. If it is long run, if it is running long run, short run operation, that is okay. But for long run operation, you want to have a kind of clear history. Like when you are buying a land, you check the history. When you are buying a car, you check the history. So history is determining your you have given another group formation sheet. Okay, I will save it. Thank you. Right, I was talking about the culture and history. It is very important. When you are buying a car, You are checking it. When you are buying a land, you are checking it. Then ambiguity. Ambiguity means you have no clear idea about what is, as I mentioned earlier, because of the complexity, ambiguity will be the result. You don't have clear idea about, you don't know reasons behind the matters. Say, for example, some organizations, their success is a secret. You can't identify whether it is leadership, whether it is the product, whether it is about your the employees, or whether it is about the culture. It's very difficult to understand clear reason for the success. That is called as ambiguity. If you can maintain these kind of factors, then your organization can entertain long-term competitive advantage. That's why it is called as sustainable competitive advantages. Again, for the sustainable competitive advantages, people are suggesting dynamic capability. I told you earlier, even do not depend on one particular thing. It's okay focusing one thing on a time, but next time you want to think about another capability. Say, for example, in the banking industry, in the beginning, it was trust, physical presence. But nowadays, their strategic capability is not the kind of physical presence and the trust being engaging physically. Now the banking industry is depending on the technology. If you can trust the technology, if you can excel in using technology, then the banking industry, you can gain competitive advantages over the banking sector. Supermarkets, again, they want to change their capabilities time to time. Nowadays, they use the capability of storing foods and displaying them on racks. But in future, it will be kind of, technology display instead of filling the goods on rack. Starbucks, we discussed last week. Previously, it was providing the space for meeting and relaxation for people. But now people are moving from physical interaction to the online interaction. Their delivery is important now. They can have their own delivery system if they are improving their organizational online platforms instead of hiring the third-party deliveries, because third-party deliveries cannot ensure the quality. Like Pizza doesn't allow the third-party deliveries easily. They have their own delivery system. It is because they ensure the level of the quality even after delivering the product to home. Similarly, dynamic capabilities are needed. You can't depend on one particular capability. Robustness, I told you about creating complexity, culture and history, casual ambiguity. Those are creating kind of uniqueness that cannot be easily copied by the other people. Benchmark is also kind of method in use in organization in order to understand your strength and weaknesses. We also do the benchmark. Universities, we do benchmark, especially we benchmark the best universities in the world in order to understand where are the weaknesses in our systems, our practices, our resources, our capabilities. So benchmarking will help you to understand the organization, however it is a comparison. You know the best practitioners in the industry and understand how they have done particular things internally in order to reduce their cost or improve their quality. So if you benchmark the low cost organization, you can find out whether they are purchasing, how they are purchasing the low cost material. Is it bulk purchasing, or is it about low quality purchasing or average quality purchasing, or whether it is about the strategy in selecting suppliers can be understood if you benchmark. It is cross-company comparison, but focusing on internal payment of suppliers. Some organization like supermarket, they pay suppliers even after selling their products. But for retailers, I told you earlier, they can't entertain that kind of facility because the retailers' credit time is very short. because of the bargaining power of the supermarkets, they purchase the product on credit and sell on cash. Therefore, they have a strategic advantage for liquidity always. Management of inventories. Like Toyota, their strategy is zero inventory. Just-in-time production system introduced in order to reduce the inventory. But in our case, we can't run with zero inventory. Anyway, we want to find a strategy to reduce the inventory cost. Inventory is called as a cost. Training of employees. Those are kind of methods that you can reduce cost. Some training are costly. So you can think about recruiting trained people, or you can think about recruiting intern instead of training permanent employees. Interns, if you see that the usually cost is quite low, if you find good people, good talented interns, then you can recruit. Then the training and development cost can be quite low. If you pay full payment and take employees and train them, cost is quite high. Dynamic capabilities. I told you earlier, do not depend on one. Renew your organization every day. Universities, we want to renew our strategies and capabilities based on upcoming things. Like AI would help us to renew our the capability. Your organizations also benefited with it. Stretching and adding capability is important internally. So extend best practices. It is expected every day. So we call it as learning culture. Adding and changing activities is needed. Some activities to be removed, while some activities to be added. Stretching competences, building on apparent weaknesses. If you have weaknesses, you want to remove them. Ceasing activities, some activities to be ceased. Non-profit activities, non-value-added activities are there in organization. Like inventory, I told you, Toyota decided to cease non-value-added activity called inventory, and they identify several waste. So several waste are some non-value-added activities, not actually the waste, but non-value-added activities. Trade-offs, we want to identify if you do some, what would be the return. So cost and return to be compared, like you do the accounting, so you always should analyze cost and benefit. External capability development, not only the internal. Sometimes external capabilities will help you. Say, for example, your distributors' capability. It is important, though that is called as external part. It helps you to develop your organization. Users' capability. Say, for example, Prima, what they do for users' capability development. Anyone aware about that? Prima? What kind of things are done for external capability development? Any idea? They are conducting training workshops for people in the bakery industry, because they know that bakery industry people, they purchase Prima, products of the Prima, especially with flour. So if the producers are capable, bakery producers are capable and expand their capacities, then definitely Prima products will move. Like the automobile producers, they want to train and develop their dealer network. That's why Toyota Lanka is improving. Toyota company is responsible. Otherwise, they will not deliver Toyota car in a quality way and service quality with the service quality to Sri Lankan customers. So dealer network, user network should be improved. So that is also a part, but it is not directly internal matter. Anyway, capability of the the external parties will help you to develop the internal organization. The building dynamic capability, I told you earlier, your organization should be learning organization. You can't depend on the traditional knowledge always. Intuition, there should be kind of, ability to see the changes in the future and work accordingly. Conflicting ideas are important. That's why organizations are having kind of brainstorming session, idea competition, debates, arguments, criticisms, meetings. All these things are letting you to conflict with ideas, not like dysfunctional conflicts. It is called as functional conflicts. Organizing a competition is a functional conflict. Likewise, the organization should be responsible enough to conduct such kind of activities. Experimentations are important. You can do product experimentation, market experimentation, the talent experimentation. Likewise, there are different experimentations in the organization to develop our capability. Management and organizational knowledge, yes, definitely. It is there. Now you are here, it is because of this part. You are here to improve your management and organizational knowledge. In one part, you can do it on the job. The other part, you can do it off the job. So today you are on off the job competency development program. Sometimes your organization is paying for it. And after you obtain your knowledge here, you are responsible for implement or employ your knowledge in your organization. So it's called as spiral interaction. If it is improving your organizational capabilities, then definitely your performance will be improved like that. So organizational development is outward, not inward. It is called as a virtuous cycle. Unfortunately, as a generally in our country, we are going the other way. Actually, we start with large scale and then not stretching, but kind of shrinking some organization, dying organization. So that is called as vicious circle. This one called as virtuous cycle. Vicious cycle. This one, it is going down. Virtuous cycle, it is going up. So organization's dynamic capability will help to do this. You are growing day by day. Right. In addition to the things that I have mentioned, like audit, value chain analysis, and as well as we discuss about SWOT. These are other methods. Benchmarking also mentioned by me. These are other methods suggested by textbook. You can see the recommended chapter. I recommended in the beginning of the session a chapter. In that chapter, it is talking about activity system map, visualization of your activities. 7S framework. Have you heard about 7S framework? Have you heard about it? You can search the internet and find out what are the 7 S's. Some S's are called as hard S's. Some S's are called as soft S's. So you can identify what are those 7S that explain about internal matters of the organization. One part it is about the hard part, one part it is about the soft part. That 7 S's are interconnected. So if you improve one S, the other S's will be also affected with it. I'm not sure whether it is improving. There will be a kind of impact on others. Say, for example, one is it is about skills. If you improve the employee skills, then they will think about improving the technology, adaptation of new technology. Then the systems will improve. Skills together with systems will improve. Shared culture is another S that will also affect to the other matters of the organization. Who introduced this 7S framework? Anyone here? Let me know quickly. Who introduced 7S framework? I need your responses. Who introduced it? Are you live in the class? Yes, coming. One answer is coming. Tom Peters, Robert Waterman. Originally, it was introduced by McKinsey. 7S framework introduced by McKinsey. I am not sure Tom Peters and Robert Waterman how it was adapted for their discussion. But originally, this was developed by McKinsey. McKinsey's 7S framework. I think you better verify through the internet and other sources. Thank you. Anyway, your response. Many people later it was used, but originally it was presented by McKinsey. Balance scorecard. I think you have heard about it because it is more related to the financial control and more related to the organizational accounting and other matters. Balance scorecard is also explaining about how internal matters and external matters can be connected together. We will discuss it in detail later because in the strategic evaluation, we use balance scorecard. And again, it is developed by Norton and Kaplan. Benchmarking, I told you. So finally, SWOT is the result, but internal matters are covered by SW. External matters will explain about OTO, opportunities and threats. And that was the end of the previous session. I took little time more because last time also I used for the revision little more time. That is the end of the internal environmental analysis. Today our discussion it is about competitive analysis. So before going to the competitive analysis, are there any clarifications, questions related to internal analysis? We are talking about now competitors and industry markets. Competitors, industry and market. Before jumping to this one, do you have any clarifications, questions? Right, thank you for response, Himali. Then we will move to the next session. It is session 5. So now it's about your 1/3 of the course is completed after discussing this one. It means even for your examination, 1/3 of the content is delivered after today's session. The competitive analysis, it is very common and very aware, but as I told you earlier, entire environmental analysis is not a kind of, new thing for you. You have heard about this SWOT analysis and strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, competitors, all matters, CSR, stakeholder matters, all these things. So the task is quite easy because I am talking about what is known to you. However, I want to give the strategic approach while I'm talking about all these matters. So competitors are different. That's why I took the kind of samples here. Apico is competing with Kiehl's in the supermarket industry. And again, Apico is competing with the Singer Homes with their furniture and household section. Then again, Apico is competing with the Aban or Soflogic with their electric item. Apico themselves now they are thinking about creating their brand by bringing some of the electrical equipment. So this competition is quite complex. Then Glowmark, from one side they are competing with Apico in the supermarket, and again Glowmark is competing with the Soflogic in the supermarket industry. Glowmark is having the electronic industry. Their initial start Soflogic, then they started supermarkets. So competition is kind of cross sectional. LAP is competing one side with APCO, Cargill's, Glowmark, while they are competing with Litrogas in order to survive in the gas industry. Huge kind of networks, competitive networks are there. I wanted to highlight it. One organization is competing with different parties. If they take the similar organizations together, this one, the direct competition, it is called as market. Apico, Keels, Cargills, Glowmark, Labs, they are trying to capture the consumer group in the retail industry. So this supermarket industry, supermarket sector is a market, but it is not the entire retail industry. It is not the retail industry. It is about the particular market segment, whole supermarket segment. In the supermarket segment, there are a number of players that they are fighting for ensuring their market. In addition to that, there are traditional retailers, there are online retailers, there are other kind of suppliers, other kind of competitors, maybe local and international buyers, potential newcomers. All these parties are there. So in addition to the direct competitor in the particular market segment, the other parties are involved in the particular sector. That entire large sector is called as an industry. So that's the understanding about industry and the market. Market is usually addressing about direct competitors. As I mentioned you earlier, here it seems the direct. In addition to that, there is another one, SPA. So you have kind of direct competitors and they do the similar business. But there are other parties outside of this model that are also engaging in the same industry. So that should be, industry is quite more broad. When it comes to the market, it is specific and direct. So that's the understanding about what we are going to analyze today. So you want to identify how the Keels is performing better than Cargill's, and what is the strategy of Apico retaining in the industry, and what would be the idea of the Glowmark in the future, and what has happened because of SPA came to Sri Lanka. Likewise, these are the broader understanding that you should have when you are doing competitor analysis, industry analysis, market analysis. In addition to that, this matters, then all these are responsible for understanding the impact of the online selling. Then it will become the industry analysis. You want to think about how the customer payment, customer preferences are changing time to time, whether the customer can shift from yours to others. So that is called as then industry analysis. So selecting the sum of the industrial partners and doing the analysis is called as strategic group analysis. Most key parties in the industry to be analyzed in order to get an idea about industry, that is called as strategic group analysis. Right. So those are the things that we do in our discussion. The session outline is created accordingly. Identify the dynamics of industry and its competitive environment. Understand the nature of direct and indirect competition. Identify the steps in competitive analysis, and 5 forces model. It is very popular model to understand strategic groups in particular industry. Then finally, multi-stakeholder approach. It is beyond the competitive analysis. Then we want to pay attention on stakeholder aspect of the organization to understand our commitment to make stakeholders happy, satisfied in order to run the organization well. Then finally, we will pay attention on CSR initiative. Right, that is the plan of the today's session. Then we will move to the discussion on competitive environment. I told you today the competitive environment is quite complex. There are a large number of competitors. Large factors are associated with the competition. Different approaches are there to being competitive. So this analysis is very important to understand organization. We do this analysis at the SBU level. What is SBU? We do the analysis at the SBU level. What do you mean by SBU? The last group is at least one answer. I expect one answer from you. What is SBU? Let me know quickly. SBU is strategic business unit. Yeah, strategic business units. Large organizations have multiple strategic business units. My first slide, I told about Apico. What kind of strategic business unit is there with Apico? What kind of strategic units are there in Apico? One, it is supermarket, Apico supermarket. Second, it is about they are connecting together, but the home and product. Yes, I could not hear you. Sorry.
Plantations.
Yes, plantations. Then they are engaging in manufacturing rubber products, especially tires. Similarly, they have different strategic business units. Some products are related. Say, for example, some SBUs are related. They can run together. Apico furniture and supermarket. Mostly they are connected together. The same place can be shared. Same location can be shared. Customer coming to the supermarket can move to the other side of the, I think you can create the mind of the model of the business. One side it is supermarket, the other side it is about furniture and household items. So it's kind of related. You can share same processes, same premises, same employees. But unrelated SBUs are also there. Rubber product you can't combine with the directly combine with the supermarket. You can sell some outcome there in supermarket, but the manufacturing process is totally different. You can't share the same location. You can share the same employees. Likewise, related and unrelated SBUs are there. So each and every SBU level, at SBU level, you want to do the competitor analysis, supermarket analysis to be done in order to understand that particular sector. Furniture sector to be compared with Singer, Damro, and other ones. Electronic sector should be compared with the other parts like other organizations like Microsoft, Abards, like. Then this important matter is your strategy, whether you are thinking about cost or whether you are thinking about quality, whether you are thinking about the customer focusedness, will be based on the strategy. Say, for example, in the supermarket industry, the cost is matter because you can't survive without having the cost. Anyway, the Apico is not competing with the organization like Kiehl's and Cargill's. Then what would be their strategy in that sense? Kiehl's and Cargill's, they are thinking about spreading their outlets everywhere. Instead, Apico is thinking about what? They are thinking about focusing. Mainly, as I told you earlier, they do not only provide the kind of daily necessities like Cargill's and Kiehl's. Instead, that they are thinking about combining it with furniture electronic, and daily necessities. So that's kind of, focus group, focus. The people who want to buy furniture, electronic items, and the daily necessities, they will select Artico. But only for daily necessities, you can go either Keels or Cargill. Likewise. Therefore, your strategy to be decided based on the competitiveness. If you can't compete with Keels and Cargills, but still there is a kind of, the way that you to survive in the market. Right. Industry dynamics, I told you earlier, today industry is quite difficult to understand because multi-business. And you are engaging in multi-industry. I took the example of Apico. So multi-business and multi-industry. Only recently I heard that their finance part is not there. They have sold out it, but earlier even finance, they engage in finance. Apico finance, but it is, I heard that it was sold out, isn't it? Now no more Apico finance is in this portfolio. So that is called as portfolio. This is called as portfolio. Multi-business, multi-industry portfolio. You know that maintaining portfolio is one kind of strategy in order to address the uncertainty. Diversification of the business is called as business portfolio. Then we want to understand industry versus market. I told you earlier boundary. Industry is then quite large. There are different players in the industry. But when it comes to the market, you are analyzing direct competitors and the direct customers. When you come to the market, you are analyzing direct competitors and the direct market. But when you are talking about industry, there are suppliers, there are distributors, dealers, potential newcomers, likewise. That is about industry. So I think you have kind of idea then what is the boundary. Boundary is direct. Customer, competitor, and you are there. Industry is wide, multiple players are there. Then you want to understand again life cycle model. I think I have inserted here. Life cycle model. There are 4 stages: introduction, launch or start, or growing stage, maturity, and decline. But rather letting the organization to decline, some people want to extend it. So the product or industry life cycle extended by the successful organization. So life cycle, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. There is a traditional model. We say that it is usually the kind of normal probability. You have a starting point, you have a low performance or low profit, low sales, but when it grows, you can increase your profit, your market share, your sales revenue, then it will come to a maturity, and then after the maturity, there is a chance of decline. But decline can be extended or can be delayed by doing some kind of turnaround. Turnaround means sometimes you change your entire product or strategy or organization in order to regionalize your operations. Say, for example, some dyeing industries have been, transformed from one particular industry to another. Even products like, as I can remember, once it was talking about kind of the clay. Clay at the moment the people are using for toy. So entire clay industry, now it has become a kind of, toy market. I'm talking about the colored clay. But earlier it was used for cleaning the wallpapers of the houses, or wall hangings of the houses were cleaned by using that particular clay in the beginning. The reason was about 50, 60 years ago, most of houses, they were used, not in Sri Lanka, but Europe and other kind of, countries which are on north and south pole of the world. When the kind of winter comes, they wanted to have kind of heating systems for houses. Traditionally, they had kind of wood fire ovens. So while they are using wood fire ovens, they found that ashes are coming out. When ashes are moving with air, it will attract by the wall hangers and the kind of pictures hanging at home. So to clean that kind of wall hangers and pictures, the people use initially ash cleaning. But later there was no such kind of wood firing requirement at home. Electrical and other kind of heating systems came to the market. So as a result, that the clay industry was dying. Then they were thinking about reintroduction or reposition the clay industry as a toy manufacturing. I think you got an idea about how the industry can be further extended. Even dying industries can be further extended if you are strategically wise. The other important matter, it is about industry convergence. We can discuss it in our next slide. Then indirect competition, I also have few matters to discuss in our next slides. Multiple competitor perspective, it will be addressed by Michael Porter's approach called five forces model. So those are the industry dynamics that we want to pay attention on today market. If you do the kind of industry analysis or competitor analysis, you should understand these dynamics. Right, this one, industry convergence. I told you earlier, the previously industries were separated, they were having clear boundaries. Say, for example, at that time, we can see automobile industry is one particular industry. Computer is another particular industry. There was no idea of combining these two industries. But today, most of the automobile that they are producing in the present day are mostly embedded even with computer systems. So combination. Earlier, mobile and the camera was separated, or camera industry is separated totally from mobile phone industry. But today, both are converged. Therefore, some camera producers, I can remember about 2 years ago, they connected with some Chinese mobile phone producers like Oppo. One of the giant in the camera producing industry joined with Oppo in order to enrich the mobile camera. So camera industry is dying while letting it to go with mobile industry. So now converge industries there. So our industries today, they are overlapping, especially computing, telecommunication, entertainment are coming with one industry, coming from one industry. Earlier, these almost all industries were separated. Entertainment, there was industry, movie, television, teledrama, musical shows were there. But today, everything can be connected with the mobile. Your musical show, dancing, everything is coming with TikTok, teledrama or stories coming with YouTube. Likewise, the combination has been happened. It's very difficult to now to determine what is the boundary of the particular industry. Boundaries are overlapping. Boundaries are disappearing. Instead, the few industries are connected together. Airline industry and tourism is connected together. Hotel industry, tourism, other travel needs are connected together. So the most of industries nowadays, they are providing multiple products, multiple services to the customer through their existing practice. I told you earlier, in the banking system, in the future, there is a chance of, sorry, not the banking, supermarket system, there is a chance of connecting with other facilities. In the banking also, rather the traditional model, they can future think about what kind of other industries they can access. Say, for example, In some countries, actually, the banking sector is responsible for a gold transaction. But in Sri Lanka, it is not quite common. Some countries like in China, I have experienced it. Most of bank branches they operate, it is because of they are doing even gold business. They sell and secure the gold by selling to the after selling to the customer. So they are engaging in that particular industry. So some cases it is called as supply-led convergence. Supplier decides something and let the people to enjoy. Your mobile phone, I am not sure whether you requested this one. It was not requested by you. The mobile phone, we were happy with the mobile phone to take the calls and send SMS in the beginning. But the later, as I told you earlier, Steve Jobs decided to enhance the screen of the mobile phone. As a result of increasing the screen of the mobile phone, then other entertainment were connected together, like gaming in the beginning, then later about it is entertainment. Then it was talking about the taking pictures and recording videos. All these things were facilitated by supply. Rather, you did it, you requested it. The other side, it is about demand side convergence. In order to understand it, I would like to hear about from you this story. So most of the kids medicine, like Lama Panadol in Sri Lanka. What is the story? What is the story behind it? It is demand side convergence. Lama Panadol වගේ අපි තමයි මුලින් converge කරේ. කොහොමද අපි converge කරේ? It is actually product convergence or product development. The earlier, I think you don't have experience about it. When we were kids, while the people are giving bitter medicine to us, our parents were trying to give bitter medicine to us. You know, bitter medicine, I'm not sure whether you have such experience, was very awful. හරිම නේද අපිට නීරසයි. අකමැති බෙහෙත් බොන්න පොඩි කාලේ ළමයි. තිත්ත බෙහෙත් බොනවා කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. තිත්ත කසාය බොනවා කියලා එල්ල තියෙන සිංහල වෙදකමෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසි වෙදකමෙත් එහෙම තමයි තුනේ තිත්ත බෙහෙත් කියලා දුන්නා. What your mothers and fathers did then? What the parents did if it is too bitter, if the child is refusing it, what they did. Any idea? Very simple thing. If it is too bitter, the people added some sugar. අපිට ගොඩාක් තිත්ත බේතක් වුණකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ කරේ සීනි ටිකක් එකතු කරා. ඒ කාලේ පෙරනෝල් හරිම තිත්තයි. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ කරේ ඒකට සීනි ටිකක් එකතු කරා. So customer need to change in the beginning. Then the medicine companies understood that it is better converging these two. So that is the idea of the supply side convergence. Actually, it is a product convergence. It was connected with the sweetness and the medicine. Sweetness and the medicine. Then the demand was there, already there. So it was not a challenging part to sell in the market. Already the people did the same. So it was understood by the manufacturer, and according to the demand requirement, they created it. Now most of the child medicine are sweetened. So it is like, you know, strawberry, apple. So people do not want to have kind of big effort in order to feed the medicine to kids now. I'm sure you are benefited with it, not but the earlier generation, like we were kids, when the giving the medicine was kind of big challenge to the parents. But for my son, it was not a challenge because there was almost all medicine all sweetened and flavored. There was no challenge to give them kind of Panadol and kind of other medicine. It was very tasty. It was not rejected easily. Likewise, the consumers are requesting. After you go to kind of boutique, you ask about whether there is something else. If you go to the restaurant, you're asking about whether there is Wi-Fi nowadays. So they are responsible for giving you some additional service there. The Wi-Fi password and other things were requested, but now I think most of people using their mobile data. But few years ago, when you go there, you will ask it. In the hotel, yes, you ask it whether you have the Wi-Fi connectivity. Do you have the password of the link to link to your internet requirement? Likewise, the people are searching. Then the suppliers or industry or the producer is responsible for providing. Right. That is called as convergence. Then some convergence are done by the technological expertise of the supplier, their product experience, and based on their experiments, research and development activities, supplier will do it. Sometimes customer do the modification. Then understanding the customer modification and requirements inquiries, you will do the convergence. Then that is called as demand side or market forced convergence. Right, direct and indirect competition is another matter. We can discuss it with an example. The example given here, it is about a book published for 230 years. That was called as Encyclopedia Britannica or Britannica Encyclopedia. It was old as 230 years. So it was a kind of, proud publication, and people, the educators and the people who like to search about the languages, words, and scientific kind of, understanding, they purchased this book in order for their educational purposes. And what has happened later? Are you using such kind of, encyclopedia now? Anyone who is using such kind of, printed encyclopedia now, even the directory? Are you using such printed ones? It is very rare. Why? The software, the web-based encyclopedia. What is the common encyclopedia on the website? Web-based, very common encyclopedia. What is it? Let me know one quickly, because you are using it. What is it? Web-based encyclopedia you are using.
Google Scholar.
Google Scholar is a search engine. Yes, it is quite common, but this particular model was developed called Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Your attempt, yes, Nalin has mentioned Wikipedia. So the subject matters will be explained through Wikipedia. Wikipedia is providing even the non-people to connect and add the content. Not only the content created by the particular the expertise publisher, but also the users can add content. So that is the kind of interactive way of developing encyclopedia as a result of developing it as the web-based encyclopedia. So annually, no need to publish new version, because every day it can be updated. Every day it can be updated. Customer doesn't need to pay even money. In the beginning, it was challenged by the several people saying that it is, creating a kind of obstacle for big industry. Actually, it has created because of the printing, because of that printing industry was drastically affected. But not only the printing, but also publication. However, the producers, they took the challenge and produced it. They gave a free of charge. Now they are kind of established model. They can earn through other sources, other ways of earning money instead of selling the printed or published publication called encyclopedia. So likewise, there are a large number of online encyclopedia now. So there is no need of producing it. Even as I mentioned, you the Oxford Dictionary, no need to go for now the buying Oxford Dictionary. Some people will buy it like student learners, but it is not necessary because almost all definitions, subject definitions are online available. Dictionaries are there. Some other people are also doing it, like search engine. They can give the precise definition for particular terms, even connecting different webs, different dictionaries available in on available on internet. So likewise, the competition is not direct sometimes. It is coming indirectly. Instead of the printing industry, similar kind of book published, the challenge was came out from the online industry or digital industry, publishing digital encyclopedia, which were addressing the requirement of the customer and allowing even the customer to be interactive by adding some non-fact. So that is one example for indirect competition. For every product, there are indirect competitors. So steps in analyzing competitors are explained. We will take a small break now. We have spent around 1.5 hours. So we will take about 10 minutes break. Is it enough? Shall we come after 10 minutes? 10:45. Is it okay?
Give us 15 minutes, sir.
You need 15. Okay. We'll come then 10:50 after 15 minutes. Take a break and come back. Right, welcome back. I think you came back there. Some of you have left anyway. There are about 75 members. I hope that all you are living here instead of, staying computer in front of me. Are you there? Yes, thank you very much for responses. We will start back. We are talking about 3 steps model in order to understand the competition and analyze the competition. This 3-step model is explaining in general, but there might be even more steps steps included in these the selected 3 steps. First one, it is about identifying the companies, organizations, competitors. Identification level, as we mentioned earlier, we should have an idea about what is our SBU correctly, what is our industry, and what is our market. Then accordingly, direct and indirect competition to be understood. That is the first step. So most of organizations, they have a clear idea, but still there might be missing competitors. That's why I told you earlier, because of avoidance of the forthcoming competitors, like Steve Jobs were engaging in the development of not the mobile phone, but the computers. So Nokia ignored the capacity of the computer industry, for the Steve Jobs especially, entering into the mobile industry. So that ignorance made the Nokia CEO crying in front of the media in 2013. So all competitors are not visible. That's why the identification is important, not only direct but also indirect. Like Encyclopedia, they were not thinking about threats coming from the online platform. As I mentioned you earlier, traditional camera people, they did not think about the competition coming from the mobile industry, but later understood and they adjusted. Media, traditional media, like newspapers, television, now no more valid in this particular online world. Then we know that some of the companies will be replaced by AI. So that kind of things to be carefully identified. Accordingly, you want to select your competitors. The second stage, it is about assessing competitors, competitive power, their market share, their strategies, objectives, strengths and weaknesses to be clearly identified, because they are in front of you. Like if you are going to play kind of cricket, you should know their batting ability, their bowling ability, fielding ability, their strengths, their weaknesses. Because I can remember that in 1996, while Sanath Jayasuriya and Kalvitarni is playing well, the other teams had to study them in order to get them out in the beginning overs. So the Australian team did the study well, and they had a kind of strategy when they are coming to the final match. Fortunately, we were not totally depending at that time on the 2 players in the beginning. The most of our Sri Lankan people believe that it is kind of bonus. If they play well, it is kind of bonus. So we had the kind of advantage over the Australian team in 1996. That's why we won the World Cup at that time. Based on the assessment of the competition, based on identification of the competitors, then you want to select your strategy. That is the third step, as I mentioned you earlier. We know common strategies are there, like cost leadership, differentiation, focusing, or combination that is possible, hybrid strategies, and even novel strategies. So we can't count it as for strategy or the differentiation or the focus. There might be some kind of total new strategies. So that should be found based on the analysis. So as the kind of steps that we want to follow. Step one is it is about identifying competitors. As I told you earlier, identification of competitors should be broad, rather narrowing it down, and be careful to avoid competitor myopia. Myopia means some people afraid about the competitors, so they ignore and try to be their own territory rather thinking about entering into the competition. We also do it kind of avoiding sometimes, but for the organization that is not good. It is not kind of unavoidable or unfaceable thing. The companies who want to face the competition, they definitely remove this myopia. So rather being afraid of competition, you want to face it simply. Then we want to identify the methods of analysis, competitors. As I told you earlier, industry point of view, there are large number of competitors like Porter's analysis to be applied. Market point of view, we have competitive map, and you can select who are the key competitors, close competitors in your market, but do not ignore the indirect competitor here, because indirect competitors are also potential kind of threats. So from these 2 points of view, you can analyze the identifying your competitors. We will do a small activity for a break. Find a list and rank 7 to 10 direct competitors of people in your organization or your industry. Then find and list 3 to 5 indirect competitors of your organization, and as well as future, not only existing but also future competitors. So take few minutes, about 5 minutes, and I will create a Google link in order to provide your answers. Get the question correctly. You want to list down 7 to 10 direct competitors of your. Then find the list and rank 3 to 5 indirect competitors. 7 to 10 direct, 3 to 5 indirect, and 3 to 5 future competitors. You don't know them yet, but future. 3 things are there. One is existing direct competitors. Second, existing indirect competitors. Third, future competitors, which are not yet in the market, but you can expect their presence. Select your industry, your business, then list down them. I'll create a Google link in order to submit your answers. Then you want to submit it now. Google Class. I'll create a Google Classroom in your Google account. There is link for Google Classroom. I want to create a new class for you. This is your class code. This one is your class code. So remember your class code to submit your answer. I'll keep it in the chat box. Chat box. This is the Google Class link. So join with the classroom and I will create assignment here. Classwork. Create assignment. Title. Competitor identity. Instruction already given. No need to give additional instruction. You want to submit it today. I will wait until the evening. Okay. Submit it. Time until 11 midnight you can submit this. Assigned to all students. And after going to your Google Class, you can click this one and submit your answer. I cannot see anyone yet, but after you do the analysis, you want to go to the class. Again, I will put the class code here. I'll give you 5 more minutes because you are just listing the people, listing competitors. Did you get it? This classroom activity, did you get it? Mention your registration number in your answer so I can easily recognize your contribution accordingly. Any questions and clarifications? Right, I am here for 5 minutes until you are doing your classwork. You can ask any question, sending message or something. Opening your mic or sending messages, you can ask. Okay, I will send you the Google Classroom link even, but everyone's the list of the Google tools, you can find the classroom link. You should have a Google account. Without Google account, you can't. I think almost all you have the Google account. Otherwise, you can create it because I have allowed you to submit the answers even later. Anyhow, I'm waiting now because you want to test it. one person has already entered. Shashikala. Yes, that it means all of you should be able to access and submit your answer. I will wait 2 more minutes for your attempts. I already put it. I am sending a delete message, sorry. Meeting group chat. Yeah, now it is there. I can see Navika and Shashikala has assigned. The others also can do. Yes, few more. And it seems it is possible. So 5 minutes is enough even for this task, but I know that the classroom experience would be new one. So get into the answers and submit it with your registration number. Your Google name, sometimes I cannot track in your attendance sheets. So mention your registration number while you are submitting your answers there. Right, you can submit answers in different formats like attaching file, or you can submit it directly. That is possible. Right, that is the way of again engaging in the active learning. You are responsible for doing such activities in the classroom. While I'm doing online, especially I do these on the spot classroom activities because I want to see whether you are there or not. Otherwise, talking to the computer is not practical and effective. Right. So activity you can do today first turn. It is the first turn, so you can do it. If the class is not working, I think your Google account might having a problem, but later you can try it again. You go through because some of the people they have already accessed there. There should not be a then problem. You can see many people have accessed already. So you can try getting help from your friends. Already 20 people assigned classroom. So there might not be an issue, definitely. Yes, some accounts, it might be a problem. Say, for example, if it is official accounts, my official account, I cannot access to the create the Google classes. That might be some of the problem. But later you can even create your own Google account later and send it. Take the support from some of your friends if it is not possible. Otherwise, finally, you can email me. I have given my email addresses. There is a problem of accessing to the Google. right? If there is a problem, I told you, option is there for the first time, but try to create a kind of Google account and enter to Google Classroom. That is new experience, and you also can use in future for learning purpose and sharing purpose, group work purpose. You can such kind of engagement can be done. So at the moment, if you are facing a problem, you can email. Don't worry. Until tonight, I accept email or the submission to the Google. If there is a problem, it should be from your side, so try to resolve it. I think your friends can help sometimes for you to make it corrected, get it corrected. Already one answer also submitted. I can see the answer even. Yes, Rameshi has provided, I think so. Right. Okay, that is another experience, learning experience. I'm normally using this kind of new learning methods in order to motivate you to learn and use in future. So some of you are also doing classes and teaching are possible. So that is the tool provided for you to use freely. No need of paying to get engaged with the Google Class, so you can use it. Right, we will move forward. You have the chances to answer and providing them. Then competitor analysis, we are moving the next step. It is assessing the competitor. Identifying part is now done. If you identify your competitors, then you want to assess them. So most of the people use the competitor power to assess them. So most of the competitors are very powerful. Comparing with your level, you want to know that whether they are above you or below you. So level of the power based on the usually how we measure the competitive power. How we measure the competitive power. What is the criteria, main criteria to measure the competitive power? Any idea? Yes.
Market.
Thank you. Yeah, market share. Yes, thank you very much. Both of you trying to answer. Yes, market share. The many people use the market share. So based on the market share, if you have the large portion, you will become market leader. Then market runner, second runner, and small player, negligible small player based on the market share. Say, for example, in the soft drink industry, Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola is sharing mostly equal, around 30 to 40 in many markets. In Sri Lanka, even Ceylon Port Services or Elephant House is also having considerable. But after these three, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and Elephant House, the other players are small players. Actually, they are not present in many markets. The strategic group is the kind of people who are sharing large market portion, and the large players in the industry is considered as strategic group. So identifying competitors' objectives, their presence, their power, their strengths and weaknesses will allow you to identify your position in the market. If you are playing again soft drink industry or market, then it's very difficult. You want to keep in mind that it is very difficult to compete with like three players in the Sri Lankan market. Then you want to find a kind of strategy or focus group in order to enter into the market. And then later you can think about how to challenge the large companies. large market share. As I mentioned you earlier, Nokia was defeated by another newcomer. In Sri Lanka, mobile communication industry, first comer was Celtel. So at that time, 100% market share was with Celtel. Latecomer was Dialog. Latecomer was Dialog. Latecomer, when they are coming to the market, they has no market share, but they captured the market share quickly and attacked to the Celtel as a result of their technological advancement. They converted their analog technology to the digital before Celtel. So accordingly, now there is no Celtel. I think number is taken by another company called Etisalat, isn't it? Is it Etisalat or Tigo? I'm not sure. What is the company name now? 072. Who provides the number 072? That was the first mobile number for us. What is the company today providing 072? It is Hutch, I think. Hutchison. But in the beginning, it was Celtel, one and only player in the market. It was challenged by Mobitel, then later, initially challenged by Dialog, then later challenged by Mobitel. Now the market leaders are Dialog and Mobitel. The others are small players. They are playing negligible role. So they want to find strategy to survive in the market. In the same bank industry, Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, Commercial Bank, those are big players. In addition to that, middle players are like HNB, Sampath, likewise. Then finally, there are small banks like DFCC, Rural Bank, Rural Development Bank. Those are also there. So they still, even newcomer can survive in the banking industry, but they want to understand what is the competitive strategy in order to stay there. And again, if you know your competitive tool, another thing is you want to understand that what would be the reaction of your competitor, not only your action, but reaction of the competitor should be understood. That's why some of the organization, they have kind of, safe area, safe domain. They don't like to challenge to the large companies, believing that their reaction would be disastrous. So reactions to be understood, estimate when you're deciding some competitive strategy. Say, for example, if you reduce the price or if you increase the price, what would be the competitor's reaction on it to be understood. Sometimes if you reduce the price, they will reduce drastically than you, even you cannot bear it. So next activity, preparing a competitive map. You prepare the list of the competitors, then based on their power, their influence, and selecting the most influential parties, you should be able to map them. For your work, the sample map is provided here. So sample map. This is for Eastman Kodak. It was done several years ago because at that time Kodak camera, Eastman Kodak camera was very popular. So you can see the map in there. Internally, their process is explained. For each and every activity, the direct competition and indirect competition is mapped here. Even you can map the future competition. Direct competition, indirect competition, and I introduced another layer called future competition. So based on their power, you can position them closely or remotely. Based on their size, you can draw the lines or draw the dots largely or small. So based on their power. Likewise, you can map them. We use this mapping system in the BCG matrix. We will discuss it later. But I want to say you that you want to be able to visually produce kind of document called mapping. This is called as competitor mapping. You did the understanding in the beginning with the activity 1. Now, based on your visualization, you want to understand who are the largest competitors, who are the smaller competitors, who are the direct competitors, who are the indirect competitors, who are the kind of future competitors. So that understanding can be visualized when you are doing analysis. This visualization helps the people to communicate it clearly within the organizational board, members, and as well as within the marketing team in order to design their strategies well. So I'm not asking you to submit it, but you do it. Submission, now one is already given. So second one, you do it, the visualization. If you want, you can submit the same to the same one, visualization, map event. So you can extend your analysis with the visualization. Is it clear? Any clarifications needed? This is an example for visualization, but I'm not asking you to use the same model. I told you even BCG matrix is there. That is another visualization, but this categorization is direct, indirect, and future competition. Any clarifications? If not, we are moving. The next one is based on your competitor analysis, you want to decide whether you want to avoid them or whether you want to attack them, or being silent or being active. Even attacking, there are different ways. Maybe slight attack or maybe strong attack, like in the fighting. So there are strong and weak competitors, as I mentioned you earlier. You want to identify the based on the market analysis. You want to identify who are the strong and who are the weak. In the mobile paying industry, it is Dialog and Mobitel. Strong, no more argument. They are very strong. If you take Hutch, Etisalat, Airtel, they're small, weak, quite weak compared with others. Though Airtel is strong in the world, while people are imagining about Airtel arrival in Sri Lanka, I'm not sure about exact dates, but about 15 years ago, it was announced that a big player called Airtel is coming to Sri Lanka, and they will, they will sweep out the existing players because they are strong enough to give the large number of connections with low cost. At that time, I can remember that even the people believe that almost all people will buy Airtel. Indian operations of the Airtel has created huge economies of scale. So as a result of that, they believe that in Sri Lanka, they will play a huge role by reducing the cost drastically. However, the existing two giants were strong enough in order to counterattack their strategies. I can remember that Airtel was thinking about coming to the agreement of sharing existing towers of the telecommunication infrastructure in Sri Lanka. So they did not want to towers. Therefore, they just believe that they can just operate by selling SIMs. But it was blocked. It was blocked by existing giant companies. They went to the court and got the court order to preventing the Airtel new arrival using their own towers and as well as common infrastructure. So the Airtel, as a result, they were not having a big investment plan. Therefore, they could not reach to the market as they expected. So likewise, there are kind of, good analysis to be done in order to think about when you compare the existing giants and weak organization, and as well as new arrivals, there should be a very good assessment, and then there are actions to be taken to prevent yourself, your market. Existing people should protect their marketplace, while the newcomers need to plan about acquiring existing market. When the newcomer is coming to the market, his plan is acquire. The existing players' responsibility is protecting their market share. So this kind of a game. The weaker people will defeat. Strong people with new strategies can win. Customer value analysis is important. As I mentioned you earlier, when the kind of organization to survive in the market, they want to address something which is valued by the customer. Even for small players, still the chance is there, as I mentioned you earlier. If you identify a customer category, focus group, then you can still survive. Close and distinct competitors, I told you earlier, some competitors are very closer, strong, while the other competitors are quite distant. Maybe compared with the product features, maybe compared with the kind of location. If it is considered about the kind of hotel, there are big players, but they are not mostly closely located to you. So in that case, you can quite ignore about their power, their reputation, their strength can be neglected because of their distance. They locate in a distance place. And even in some of the organization, they don't care about the particular customer categories. Then you don't want to worry about that particular large competitor because their market is different. Their market distance is created by the kind of categorization or segmentation of the customers. Then again, you should know that some competitors are good, so they follow ethical practices. They even have kind of fair competitive weapons, while some are bad. Like in a war, if you are fighting with guerrilla team, then definitely you should know that they are bad. They are bad. In Sri Lanka, we had that experience. When the Americans went to Vietnam, before going to the Vietnam, they should understood. They could understood before going to Vietnam. Their strategies are not ethical. They were not ethical. That's why Americans could not, defend themselves. So they follow different strategies which are not coming under the formal war. In Sri Lanka too, it was there. So when we are dealing with such kind of competitor, you want to be careful. They can have different kind of techniques. Sometimes it will destroy you. Not only you, it will hit the sometimes the market also. Like say for example, on the road, the bus race is a over competition and kind of bad competition. Nobody get the benefit. I told you once. Ola, they are on a race on the road. Even the passenger, sometimes owners, sometimes people who are working in this particular industry have no kind of satisfaction as a result of our competition, and as well as they use the kind of bad strategies in order to be retained in the market. So good or bad, some people, when you are attacking them, you want to know that their weapons might be dangerous, and they might react to you in kind of ethical as well as unethical ways. So being aware about these matters, you want to decide your strategy. So bad attack might be there. As I told you earlier, while you are a newcomer, some organizations they have kind of inhuman attack. අමානුෂික විදියට පහර දෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒ වගේ තැනකදී you want to be very careful about the opponent. Even sport like boxing, I think you know that. Some sports like rugby, yes, there might be kind of, bad, but it is not illegal. Sometimes might be bad behavior. Even illegal behaviors are possible. Red cards are given to the people who are playing aggressively. So likewise, there are such kind of cases even in the business sector. So accordingly, you want to decide business strategies. So I'm not going to discuss in detail because we will be discussing these under the next sessions called strategic option. Usually these are called as generic business strategies introduced by Michael Porter and the other people. Then they elaborated it further, saying that combinations are also possible. Like even focus was considered as hybrid. You can take the cost focusedness or the quality focusedness. So kind of hybrid strategy. I'm not going to discuss in detail, believing that there might be a good discussion with your the next visiting lecturer who is coming from the industry. Competitive strategies, I told you it is about, again, same. You can think about operational excellence in order to reduce your cost and give the maximum value to the customer. Superior product, superior production process, superior technology is maintained. So your product will be excellent. Your service will be excellent. Then customer intimacy, sometimes rather thinking about superior product, some people they are thinking about customer requirements. Say, for example, if it is cost sensitive market, rather you are thinking about having a superior product, you are thinking about reducing the cost and giving the kind of product based on the customer preferences. Say, for example, in some markets like India, even Sri Lanka, sometimes having kind of branded clothes are very small, limited market. That's why about 20 years ago, Pamuno was very famous. People do not have kind of, affordability to go to the shops, branded shops, etc. So there was no kind of large demand for such high quality. Hence, the Pamuno area was emerged by producing low cost garment. But now it has been changed. Product leadership. Some people, they are the leaders in producing the particular product, like Apple, Samsung, now some of the Chinese companies, they are the product leaders. When you come to the displaying industry, earlier it was about Sony. Television was highly recognized as superior product. So product dominance was there. When you are thinking about production of automobile, yes, superior companies are there in the world. Now the new companies are challenging like Chinese BYD. So there are different options in order to make you or keep you active in the marketplace. I told you about this is the kind of market structure. Usually the market leader can have kind of larger portion of the market share, even 40%, 30 to 40% might be a kind of market leader share in the soft drink industry and telecommunication industry, mobile industry. I told you that you can clearly identify who is the market leader. Time to time it can be changed because there is a challenger. Like in the mobile device industry, Apple, Samsung, time to time they change their market leadership position, but now Chinese companies also have come to the presence. So market challenger is the second the runner-up, market runner-up, or the second placement in the market. They always challenge to the market leader, so there is a kind of fight. Usually there is a severe fight between market leader and market challenger. I can remember the fight between Eslon and Anton at that time. Those are kind of, water pump producers or water pipe producers, and as well as the other plastic pipe producers. So they were fighting on advertisement. In our stage, there was two dominant toothpastes. I think some of you don't know the toothpaste called SR. At that time, Signal and SR competition was there on the market very hugely. Can you say present kind of huge competition between market leader and challenger? Any example for the present context? I told you about history. Anton Eslo, SR Signal. They were fighting together. Do you have any idea about the present market competition, like large two companies fighting together? Any idea? No, any idea? You should have some understanding. I told you about mobile network providers who is competing shoulder to shoulder. අපි කියන්නේ කරට කර හැප්පෙන්නේ කවුද?
Dialog and SLD Mobitel.
You are correct. Yes, thank you. Dialog and Mobitel. Yes, කරට කර හැප්පෙනවා. World industry එකේ තාම soft drink industry එකේ හැප්පෙන්නේ කරට කර කවුද?
Sipetco and IOC.
Yes, in the again providing the petroleum, Sipetco and IOC, but Sipetco is having a kind of dominance place compared to the market share. Anyway, they are fighting. Yes, in the world soft drink industry, we can see Coca-Cola and Pepsi Cola. Yes, large number of examples can be taken. Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Yes, you are correct. Thank you. The market followers, they follow these kind of people. The leaders are followed by some middle people. There is not only one person, they are sharing about 20% of the market. As we mentioned earlier, there were kind of companies in this layer in soft drink industry in Sri Lanka. I think Ceylon Cold Service have become, I'm not sure how the three companies can be placed, but I believe that they also following the leaders in the Coca-Cola, leaders in the market like Coca-Cola and Pepsi Cola, because they are copying their products to produce similar products. Earlier, there was a kind of big change. SR and Signal both proceed by Unilever, but earlier there was huge competition. Earlier, I'm not sure about SR because advertising, they focus on attacking to the SR. Signal always created advertisement to attack SR. I'm not sure now. SR, is it in the market? I don't think so. Might be acquired later. Nalin, you can check about. So earlier, they were doing big competition. They call you Irine. කියලා තමයි අරගොල්ලෝ ෆයිට් කරේ. අරගොල්ලෝ ෆයිට් කරේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඉරි ගැන තමයි ෆයිට් කරේ. කවුද? සිග්නල්. දැන් නම් කාගේවත් ඉරි නැහැ. ඒක නිසා දැන් එම් ෆයිට් එක නැත්තේ. ඒ දවස්වල SR ආවේ ඔය ඇතුලේ ටියුබ් එක අපි එළියට ගන්නකොට මේකලා SR එක සුදුම සුදුයි සිග්නල් එකට තිබුණා ඉරි. ඔන්න ඕක පාදක කරගෙන තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ ෆයිට් කරේ. මාකට් එකේ. එතකොට ඒ පොඩි කාලේ අපි දැන් ඒවා අපි දැකින්නේ නැහැ කාලෙකින් මම දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක නිසා SR might be acquired by Unilever later. Like even Sunlight is fighting directly. Yeah, yes, SR is not there in the market. I haven't seen it. And maybe yes, purchased by Unilever later and introduced into the another market. Yes, I'm not seeing that company. I told you about my childhood memory. When we were kids, yes, we see always the advertisement on the television fighting SR with Signal. That's why I mentioned that you want to come with the new competition like present market, IOC, Petco, and Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, it is historical rival. And again, in the mobile networking industry in Sri Lanka, Dialog, Mobitel, they are fighting always at shoulder to shoulder. The other people are the small players, like it is in the kind of soft drink industry. I told you about Ceylon Coal Services. I'm not sure the other products even, because the large players are dominant. Small niches might be there, like geographical area. The customer preferences can be addressed by the small niches. Sometimes it may be the kind of in Sri Lanka now we know the king coconut drink, healthy drink. That might be kind of small niche. Even Sun Crush, it came from I think Muralidharan's family company. That is also kind of the way they were trying to establish in the market. They canned the product instead of bottled. Right. So such examples to be taken into the consideration. Small niches, sometimes they have the chance to come out and defeat the large players. So exceptional small niches might be there. Exceptional small. Like Japanese companies started like small niches and then they captured the big market later. Competitive position, as I mentioned you earlier, you can position the market leader. If the market leader is there, he is strong, their market is quite large, they can invest a lot on new innovation. They can do experimentation like Samsung is doing now. They allocate about 10% of their income for research and development work. So every day they are producing about 7 to 8 patents. Like Toyota also. You have heard about the story about Toyota. Some people say that they do 7 changes in every day. Like yes, the 7, not the changes, innovation done every day because they are patented, protected by patents. Samsung's, the number of patents per year, it is about more than 2,000. What is number of patents for entire Sri Lanka per year? What is number of patents registered in Sri Lanka per year? You can check it if you go to the National Intellectual Property Office. The statistic is available. You can check it and you can find it. It is below 50, about 50 patents are registered by local people, residents in Sri Lanka, registering about 50 patents per year, while Samsung is producing 2,000, more than 2,000 patents per year. So that's their leadership, that's their technological advancement, dedication for remaining in the industry to be the market leader. So finding they can expand the market drastically. They have investment power, they can acquire the other organization, they can dominate with the product, and their brands are great and have the big brand value, likewise. So they can, the challenge is there, the retaining in the kind of, leadership position. In the automobile industry, Ford was the dominant leader for around 50 years, 60 years. But it was attacked by the Japanese companies later. The EV industry, Tesla was the leader and the first comer. Now it was challenged by the BYD. So likewise, there are many considerations. It is not easy to keep the leadership position forever. Large organization, they should know that every time there is someone behind. Crown will be thrown away or taken away by someone else soon. අර ඔටුන්න දාගත්තට ඒක රැකගන්න කමාවි. ලංකාවේ රජ පරම්පරාව ගත්තාම හරිම පරිස්සමෙන් තමයි ඔටුන්න රැකගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ තමයි. Leadership position, protection of the leadership position is challenge. For that, they want to do continuous innovation. That's why 10% of the revenue of the Samsung is dedicated for R&D. Apple also do the same. So sometimes it is about half of Sri Lankan entire GDP. අපේ අවුරුද්දක සමස්ත ජාතික ආදායමෙන් භාගයක් විතර ඒගොල්ලෝ රිසර්ච් වලට වෙලා. So huge amount. That's why they produce about 2,000 patents per year. And continuous expanding of the market share. They can't stop. If they stop, the other people will come and capture. So they want to do advertisement, aggressive marketing, new product interaction. Like in Sri Lanka, another big two competitors are Munchie and Malibu. Munchie and Malibu in the biscuit industry. So likewise, they want to do several things to remain in the leadership position. Otherwise, there is a closer the second or the runner. පිටිපස්සේ ළඟින්ම දුවගෙන එන්න තව කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. හරියට මීටර් 100 මීටර් 200 දුවනවා. තප්පරයක පමාව ඇති අරයා ඉස්සර වෙයි. So that's a kind of challenge before the market leader. Anyway, they entertain a lot of things because of the market leader. Market challenge, I told you there is a second or the runner behind you. The chance is them to they have the kind of person to look at. අපිට green දුවන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. එතකොට there is a kind of learning. If the first comer of first place is facing kind of difficulties, you can learn from their difficulty or failure. If the first one is making kind of innovation, there is a chance you to duplicate or kind of learn from it. Some people copy, some people learn from it and do the better thing from their experiences. So if there is someone in front of you, you have a chance to follow them. You have a chance to understand their failures. If they are weak in some point, you can take the advantage. Like a marathon, you let the people to run sometimes and learn about their strategy. Marathon එක සමහරලාට අනිත්යට දුවන්න දීලා හතියටෙන් නැරලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට දුෂ්කරතාවයේ විඳින්න නැරලා after you learn and observe, then you will take the leadership at the correct position. So your effort you can save, your money you can save, because leader is doing all the waste sometime for finding correct. After leader find the correct thing, you can easily catch up. So there is some people called catching up. They have high risk but high gain. Sustainable competitive advantages over the leader can take in order to become a leader one day. Challenge the firm of the same size, smaller size, or challenge regional or local firms. They have the challenge from the down and then as well as from the top. Bottom stress and as well as top stress are there. Therefore, the challenges are sandwiched usually. So the advantage is there to follow the leader. You can't avoid about the pressure comes from the leader. And as well as there are kind of players, pre-players after you. They also can capture your marketplaces when you become weaker. So sandwich. People who are sandwiched there from the top and bottom. Market leader උඩින් ඉන්නවා පිටිපස්සෙන් ඉන්නවා අපි බලාගෙන ඉගෙන ගන්න followers full frontal versus indirect attack. So full frontal attack coming from the leader, indirect attacks coming from the people behind you, followers. So not easy. ඉස්සරහා බලන්නත් ඕනේ පිටිපස්ස බලන්න. leader බලන්න තියෙන්නේ පිටිපස්ස විතරයි. පිටිපස්සෙන් අනිත් ඔක්කොම. මෙයා මැද ඉඳගෙන සෑන්ඩ්විච් වෙනවා පිටිපස්සෙන්නුත් ඉන්නවා උඩින්නුත් ඉන්නවා. එතකොට ඒ දෙගොල්ලන්ගේම attack වලට මුහුණ. Market followers are people who gained advantage from the two top people who are fighting. The market followers take the advantage. අපි කියන්නේ අර ඌරෝ කැකුණ තරනකොට හබන් කුකුලන්ට රජ මගුල්. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේක. මේගොල්ලෝ ගන්න advantages. They take the advantages from the the conflicts or competition of the previous two players. And they learn from these people, they invest money, they are the people who get the benefit. They are learning from others' experiences. Therefore, they don't want to invest a lot of money for research and development and other things. I think one more Himali has submitted the group formation sheet. Is it new one, Himali? Edited one? Okay, anyway, I will search about what kind of changes happened. However, small groups now almost all are completed, I think so. So Ruin, you want to assign the task among the members. Next week, we will discuss the specific task and the plan of the small groups plan in order to carry out the task. So everyone should get ready next week to tell us about their preparedness of carrying out the task. Okay, then the market niche is the smallest players in the market. They just pay the attention on the high income group, might be small market or might be very small market of the very low income group. Like in Sri Lanka, I don't like to take the kind of example, but some people who are smoking, they cannot afford the standard product. Then there are substandard products available. So likewise, market niche, even some illicit things are coming, like illicit alcohol. If there is some kind of market, there might be a people, disorganized people, informal people taking the advantage over the people who cannot access to the previous product. Even in the telecommunication, we can see small niches are there. Earlier, Lanka Bell and Suntel was there. I'm not sure whether they have merged now. However, their niche is providing not the individual customer, not providing the solutions for individual customers now. They are thinking about developing the organizational solutions. So their market niche, they identified it rather individual customer groups. Right. So they serve for the small niches, targeting subsegments, might be high, might be low income, might be some unserved desires, unserved needs will be addressed. Good strategy for small firms. SMEs, yes, startup point of the SME would be mostly this one. Offer high margins. Sometimes, if it is high cost, high quality, you can set high price. Say, for example, some value-added products, high quality product, craftsmanship. You can't nowadays retain craftsmanship if you are setting the low price. So you want to think about high margins in order to work with. Some eco-friendly products, so high margins can be kept. Say, for example, one of my students is producing bamboo straw. So most of the customers are foreigners. While they are traveling, they can keep their travel kit with straw, some bamboo-based spoon, instead of using plastic ones provided by the sellers. They can clean it and keep it in their pocket. So reusable bamboo straw is a kind of, eco-friendly product. They like to pay some of the margin. A high price will be paid by the most of foreigners. Even some of the products produced by now Otara is doing a foundation called Uvia. The most of the eco-friendly products are there. Prices are quite high. Specialization is key by market, customer, product, or marketing mix line. So specialization is kind of one of the key strategy in playing the market niche based on the customer's preferences, income. You want to give a kind of particular customized products. Customization is important. Like tailoring is customization. So some tailors like Amedia, they are paying a large price for people who are searching for high quality, customized production for the government. Then another example for understanding them, Daraz, Kapruka, Labs Super. Daraz, Kapruka is coming as physical retail. Lab Super and other ones are physical. Daraz and Kapruka are online. So online retailers, when it comes to the business in this sector, this is indirect competition. So online, they are targeting about social media campaign, accessing to the customer through email, accessing to the customer through messaging, etc. Labs, Keels, Cargills, now they have online platforms. They are also thinking about attacking directly to these by opening up online platforms. But their traditional model is establishing outlets, having large parking space, showcasing products in a way that customer can easily access, providing discounts to credit payments. Likewise, there are different methods to address the market in the physical store compared with the delivering. Delivering, the most important character is delivering reliability. So usually Daraz and Kapruka, compared with Daraz and Kapruka, I found that Lasan Pora, they took the responsibility of their own distribution system and serving it. I'm not sure, I did not check after I'm coming from sabbatical leave after 2 years, but the Corona period, most reliable service was Lasana, Lasana.com. I'm not sure now. You can check the way the world, but in China, I have found that it is drastically now electronic commerce platforms are popular. The one of their main strategies in the morning, everyone gets the kind of pack of the gift, discounts. So people in the morning every day they search about discounts available and put the products to the basket and place the order. Delivery system is one of the main component. Large number of items are coming through the online. So there should be a reliable delivery system in order to ensure the products will reach to the final customer on time. Balancing customer and competitor orientation is also important. Sometimes when you are working with the over competition, you will forget about your customer. You are treating to the competitor instead of the customer. As I told you earlier, buses running on the road, treating to the competitor. හැමතිස්සෙම මොබයිල් ෆෝන් එක කනේ දාගෙන අර බස් එක කොහෙද යන්නේ මේ බස් එක කොහෙද යන්නේ කියලා ඩ්‍රයිවර් කෝල් දීදී කොන්දසර දොරේ එල්ලීලා පාරේ ඉඩ ගන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා රූල්ස් බ්‍රේක් කරනවා කස්ටමර්ට ට්‍රීට් කරන්නේ කම්පිටිටර්ස් තමයි ට්‍රීට් කරන්නේ මම කිව්වේ රේස් එක දිනන එක තමයි ප්‍රධාන පරමාර්ථය වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම නැතුව කස්ටමර් ට්‍රීට් කරන එක නෙවෙයි. එතකොට you can forget your customer while you are aggressively engaging in the competitor. It will damage sometimes even customer, the tradition, their satisfaction, everything can be in danger. So competitor-centered companies are there. As I mentioned you earlier, Sri Lankan private bus sector is a very good example. Customer-centered companies are there. They forget about competitors, what they do. If they satisfy the customer, the competition can win. So they focus on the customer. Through that, they win the competition. The other one, it is a combination market-centered, not only the customer, but also the competitor. Combination is there. It is explained here. So you can find examples for each and everything. Customer-centered companies, they don't care about their competitors. I have heard about some of the most of the entrepreneurs, they are talking about they are the customers are the preference rather worrying about the competition. multi-competitor approach, then I told you that if there is an industry, there are kind of strategic groups which can be considered as competitors. These are actually not the direct or indirect competitor, but in the sense of the sharing the benefits, with the sense of the sharing the benefits, they will become kind of competitors. Say, for example, customer is bargaining you to get more benefit. So accordingly, Michael Porter is trying to categorize these kind of benefit sharing competitors. That benefit sharing competitors are called as competitive forces. So his model is explaining about 5 forces. That's why we mentioned about 5 forces model. So that is explaining about new entrants, suppliers, buyers, substitute, and existing competitors. These are the 5 categories that Michael Porter is talking. I think you are aware about this 5 forces model. So based on that understanding, you can engage in an activity to explain about 5 forces model, how the 5 forces model is applied in particular industry that you are selecting. I'm not going to discuss this one. This is one of the example or the categories that they have been mentioned under the 5 forces. And later, the Michael Porter also said that not only 5 forces, there might be other sources even, forces even. So Michael Porter's model later extended saying that there are other powerful people also working as competitors of the company. So union, government even, while the considering about taxes, yes, government is also coming as a competitor. Benefit share, the unions are also bargaining for benefits. Governments are bargaining for benefits. Some of the other organizations, like environmental organizations, bargain for benefits. So there might be that part also in the extended model. Right. So today I'm trying to stop today now from this point and discuss the stakeholder part in the next week. Are there any questions and clarifications so far? My email address is Rukmal. I have already given it in my last slide. Anyway, Rukmal@sgroup.lc. This is my email address. We are facing a difficulty in submitting answers through Google Classroom. You can email before midnight today. I will accept your answers in that case, but try to fix your Google Classroom account. Time to time, I'm conducting activities through it. Right, any more clarifications are there? I can see now the participation in the Google Classroom. It has increased to 57. So more than half of the people are connected. 11 have submitted their answers. That's great. The other people want to submit it to, before tonight, mid tonight. Right. Any clarifications and questions? I am going to wind up the class now. Next week we will please meet physically and address the organization part of the our strategy forum, because after the next week another third lecturer will come from outside of the university. Then we will not have a kind of regular meetup weekly until we are reaching to the around 11th class. So get ready to let me know your preparation for organizing the strategy forum. As I told you earlier, your coordinator, head of department, and the senior lecturers of your department is trusting us to organize kind of good event to make considerable impact on the program, your entire program. Right. Any clarifications, questions before winding up? And if not, we will stop the class today. Hope to meet you there in the next week. Thank you very much for attending the class. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.